Javelins, freelancers, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another report from Anthem Universe. I am but one of your hosts, Ogaz, and today we're going to take a look at some art and some tweets and some news from Anthem over the past week. We did a Anthem stream only recently in terms of the recap over the weekend so that we could review and assess and analyze the recent stream from Fort Tarsus. Of course, in that I just ran out of time. I didn't have a lot of time to take a look at the other elements in Anthem this week, so I thought we'd run a separate video covering the art and some things you might want to take a look at this week from the news in Anthem. First up is the wonderful cow. Now, what cow is this? This is, of course, Knickers the cow. Now, why is this relevant? Well, Knickers the cow has been busy, as you have seen, in the world of Anthem. Of course, confirmed as the next elite monster in the world of mirrors. No, not really, of course. We're just being silly. But of course, that's funny. I thought it would be interesting to take a look at what a giant car would look like in the world of Anthem. And there you go. Hopefully, we won't have to face Knickers because, oh my, she is something. But something that is something and something more than something is the Ranger Javelin that has been dropped by Casey Hudson. Casey, of course, ran a blog on the BioWare site over the last week talking about where Anthem is going and the adventures to come for the team. To be fair, it wasn't a lot of info drop in terms of Anthem itself, just a nice general overall progress update and confidence in the team. However, one thing that was very, very nice in his blog was this beautiful Ranger Javelin that you see here, and of course no doubt modelled on the one and only Iron Man. It is quite clear this costume, this piece, has a big influence from the very wonderful character Iron Man, and no doubt a lot of people, a lot of freelancers in the community have spoken much about creating their own Iron Man in Anthem, and here we have it. No doubt you'll be able to do that very, very soon as we come closer to launch. We're in December, of course, by the way, guys. By the way, it is December, and it won't be long before we will see February 22 coming around very shortly. Of course, elsewhere in the art department, we have seen some great images of the Interceptor. Michael Gamble dropped this on Twitter only in the last few days, and of course it no doubt got some great excitement from the community. Look at it. I mean, it's probably the most evil Interceptor we've seen so far, so I think that's pretty cool to start with. The red eyes, the sheen, the green finish, so you can see the detail. I mean, you can really take a look when you zoom in at this picture, and it's not even that high res, to be fair. It can be much higher than this, but if you do zoom in, you can see some of the detail, the finishings, the leather underlay pieces to it. So there's clearly a lot of work that's gone into the design and the color augmentation of these, and of course the other javelins, so we can't wait to see more. Of course, while we're talking about our good friends Interceptor, our good friend over in the Reddits, Beelzebub, of course one of the mods over in the Reddit community, designed one of these, and Beelzebub does some great artwork, I should say, and this is just another one to that piece. I love this. This is like the noise of the Shaper Storm. It's like the tyranny of the environmental world, as juxtaposed to the hybrid of these flying butterflies. It's very strange. I actually like it. It's very memorable and different and unique, and pulls on some different heartstrings to what we've seen up until this point in terms of Anthem art. So Beelzebub, shout out to you, sir. Absolutely incredible. Elsewhere in the world of the art of Anthem, you would see in this image. Now, we did talk about this on a recent episode for the art of Anthem, but one thing that you would have noticed at the bottom of the art book is the collector plate that is made reference to the collector's edition, which is the one, of course, that's at $79.99 US. You can pre-order that on Amazon. We have pre-ordered it, and I'm excited to see more. I love these art books, but in particular, this piece at the bottom there is of most interest. Of course, it was confirmed on Twitter that this is indeed Helena Tarsus, so the very namesake of Fort Tarsus, and I suppose represent of the old guard, here being handed a sword in a very medieval, it's almost Egyptian-like. If you look closely, the artwork and the finishings over here, it does sort of bring to mind a lot of the hieroglyphic art. It's a little bit more advanced, sort of like a fusion of modern European art with some traditional Egyptian I guess, focus. So I don't know what that will play. We can see cable links and whatnot joining into the system here. Presumably it's all hooked up and being serviced, ready for Helena to take it out to battle. But no doubt a more primitive yet very similar design. Obviously you see the hind legs here, for example, are very similar to what we're used to seeing from the other Javelins. Very, very exciting to see that indeed. Elsewhere, in terms of pictures and images, we must transition for a moment to the stream. Of course, the stream we covered in previous episodes, as I mentioned. If you want to take a look at the analysis, you can check out our previous video, and of course the full live stream up on the site as well, which is essentially youtube.anthemuniverse.com. However, if you take a look at some of these screenshots from the stream, I do like this one in particular. You get to see the mission screen for the Lost Arcanist, and in particular that tantalizing difficulty there, and you'll see it as Master, which is what we were going to see. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that just yet. Keep your eyes out this week from news from BioWare. We will drop that when we do hear about that on the Twitters, Discords, and the YouTubes, of course, and hopefully we'll find out when that is. But it is very exciting to see. Now, as you know, we've been told in the past, and I will say this from Binary and my experiences, that the difficulty sets mirror the idea of, well, the nearest conversation is probably Diablo. And what you'll see here, of course, as I said, is the difficulty master. I can't talk too much in terms of detail at the moment, but certainly we have had some exposure to the different difficulty settings in Anthem, and as I said, just keep in mind Diablo is probably the best nearest comparison, and you'll see that very soon. Some of you will see that perhaps in the closed alpha, but we've seen a tier of a number of difficulty settings. Master was the highest that you could access at the launch of the game. So for example, you'll have 2 levels, then Master, as the 3 levels of potential difficulty, and then of course there are more levels beyond that that you can then attempt to unlock. I'll leave it at that for now, but it is exciting to see more from Anthem, and of course the guys on stream when we do. We also saw in there, again just for the geek PC nerds in there, the configuration settings screen here, and you'll notice that of course everything was set to Ultra. No doubt they had probably running some significant GPU power in those machines. The last machine that I know that was playing at E3, I believe, was 2 1080 Ti's, which is quite a beastie machine and setup. But it's quite clear here these guys are trying to push to make, of course, the stream as good as they possibly can. Hopefully for the next round the stream software and everything else will hold up to support this clarity that they're trying to promote. The next screen, of course, is just something from the Enclave, and I've talked about this in the stream previously. I just love this shot. It's simple, beautiful, the lighting's great, but it gives you off that cross medieval concept, that hybrid of medieval meets technology. And of course, the other thing about this shot is you've got 2 very polar opposite personalities here. You've got a good friend over here, Yarrow, who is the old freelancer, and he's going to give you difficult missions. He's going to represent the old guard, and he'll be stuck in his old ways of the world. And over here, of course, you've got the young Owen. Owen, of course, we've been told is the guy, you know, from the other side of town, so to speak. He sort of studied, he's a master cipher, and he's able to do all sorts of wonderful things, and he's a bit of a nerd in terms of shaper lore and technology, but to be fair, he is sort of more conventional in his ways than academic, if you will. So no doubt we'll see those 2 personalities more, and again in the near future, but just exciting to see them actually appear again in game. This shot in particular, I love this shot. We talked about this again in the stream, but I just have to bring it back. The fact that the Sentinels, the Tarsus police, are here, they're present, they're also obviously are easily allied where need to be, so whether or not they're being paid off here to be part of Corvus, but it's quite clear in this cutscene that there's a scene there when the Sentinel puts his arm out to actually block you from getting to Tassian here. Tassian here on the left is the leader of, well, at least as we know, the leader of the Corvus, and the Sentinel plays a defensive role in actually, you know, physically blocking you as you reach out, and so it's quite obvious that these guys are well paid, or at least well allied for some reason with Corvus. The other thing to point out here is the size of these things. We do know the Sentinels were quite big, we've seen them before. Of course, it is quite beholding when you see it next to an Inti. Now, of course, Interceptor is a smaller suit, so that could just be a scale thing, but I get the impression the Sentinels overall are going to be taller, and you can just see them, they're bulkier. These guys are like wrestlers. These are big big Javelin suits, and I guess they really have that very aggressive, overseeing position. And of course, let's not forget the rifle they're holding. It's almost as big as half of Interceptor, if not more. So it's something impressive, and they are going to be a sight to behold. I can't wait to see these guys in battle. Hopefully we'll be able to see something like that in due course. This shot I also love. The simplicity of it. You've got this juxtaposition of the old stairs going up there on the left, right, on the left and the right, flanking the forge, and this, hooked up system, the forge itself, the Javelin Interceptor there, just opened up and asking for you to jump in. And of course, we'll be doing that very soon when we see more from the stream at BioWare. Again, love the stuff we saw from Tarsus. Looking forward to seeing more. Elsewhere, of course, we saw Owen during the stream, and he doesn't look very happy in this screenshot, does he? But it's quite good to see that there's an articulation and a presence of these characters. I think their animations look quite good so far. We'll have to wait to see on the final, of course, production, but so far so good. The statue, of course, we see here, which is a Cypher statue. I called it a Corvus statue in one of our streams. I did get that wrong, so apologies, but it is indeed a Cypher statue. No doubt we'll find more about this in the near future. Beyond that, we started to see some tweets in play, in particular this tweet from Mark Dara, so I thought we'd take a look at some of these as we move on to news and start to wrap this episode up. It says here, in this alpha we'll have it disabled. We are trying to put specific pressure onto the game servers. The Forge doesn't do that. So again, this is confirmation that the Forge is not present in the closed alpha coming up on the 8th and 9th of December. The Forge is not there. Why is that the case? We did discuss that recently in our stream, but again, I feel it's the idea that they're not stress testing if you're running around the Forge. They want you out in game, multiple numbers, pushing the servers, engaging in action, engaging in combat, etc. The Forge, unfortunately, isn't a place for that. So, good call out from Mark, so thank you for that confirmation. Elsewhere in the tweets, the Game Awards, of course, coming up on December 6th, so only in a few days' time. Of course, Jeff Keighley is the main man running that. He has dropped, and indeed the Game Awards has dropped a teaser to a trailer that will be coming at the Game Awards. So, of course, if that is of interest to you, that is New York 8:30 p.m. On the December 6th, LA 5:30 p.m. London, that will be actually 1:30 on Friday in the morning, and for the Oceanians, the Australians at least, that'll be 11:30 a.m. Friday. So it's something to check out in the world of Anthem. There is confirmation we'll be seeing some more on characters and the personalities of Anthem, so sit tight for that. Very excited to see what more we'll see from the Game Awards. It'll be a short but brief trailer, I suspect. Maybe, 1 minute 30 to 2 minutes 30, I'm thinking, just based on the type of event that is. But it has been confirmed that Casey Hudson will indeed be joining Jeff Keighley on stage. So I could be wrong there. Maybe it's going to be longer. But given the time and resources and allocation it takes to create cinematic trailers, I suspect it will be probably 2 minutes 30 at the most. Let's see what we get from December 6th. Very excited to see more from the team. Elsewhere, you will see there that there is confirmation of fall damage. Now, we did know that, but just a point that if you do fall from certain heights in Anthem, you will take damage, and I will confirm that was also the case in our playthroughs as well. Moving along, we want to ensure that everyone understands the game. It's different than what we have done before, but there are still lots of surprises to find. Now, this is a point from Mark in regards to a question about being afraid. As you can see there, aren't you afraid that Anthem would not be a big deal because we've seen so much? I think it's important here that BioWare do show as much information as they can. Inversely, however, they need to make sure there's a quality control mechanism with that. The challenges they've had so far have been, one, there was a technical frame rate issue with the performance of the machines recently. And that relates to not the technical parts of the game engine, but the stream software and the bandwidth that they were using to do that. Unfortunately meant the frames suffered and they dropped frames in the later stream. They are aware of that, of course, and they did everything they can and are doing everything they can to prevent that in the future. So we've had a couple of instances now where the show, so to speak, has not sort of gone according to plan. No doubt they're aware of that, and they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that is improved for the future. But it's a good call in this case. Obviously, they want to get exposure and present to people what this game is to get them excited and invested. This is a new IP after all, but at the same time they do have to manage those expectations as well, knowing that there are struggles and challenges that they might have, such as they had now with streaming. Elsewhere, Mark Dara confirmed that there are many grenades. We knew this already, of course. Now the grenades are an ability of the Ranger suit. Of course, you can actually equip multiple grenades, not at the same time, but you'll be able to choose from a variation of grenades as you use them in the world of Anthem. So that was a nice bit of clarification. Another question that came through here was in regards to emotes, and it was a good question. Are there Javelin specific emotes? Great question, Tom33462902. Wow, great Twitter handle, bro. I'm not sure if there aren't Javelin specific ones now. I suspect there will be eventually. I think we can confirm from what we saw there are a number of animations that might be problematic for some of the Javelin suits. We all, of course, have only seen the Ranger in full action with the emotes that we saw in the personalization trailer. If you need to click that, you can check out our YouTube channel, and we've actually got a 2-minute clip reel of all the animations and the emotes available. So take a look at that to see what's been on show. But it seems apparent that at least in the short term, post-launch, you will likely see some variations and some Javelin specific emotes. Very, very exciting indeed. The last special conversation for today is a beautiful, gorgeous artwork, and of course this is not even an artwork, this is a screenshot, by the way, guys, by Emily at BioWare. Of course, Emily drops some beautiful stuff on the Twitter sphere quite frequently, and she's outdone herself this time. And of course the best part of this, it actually invoked a little bit of Anthem poetry. Of course, we tweeted out "Once upon a midnight dreary," and Emily could not resist with but a beautiful poem, and here it is. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I wandered ever leery of those grabbits chomping all about the forest floor, while I travelled javelin flying, suddenly I heard a crying, so now I'm off to stop those arcanists dying with my rescue yet once more. Emily, you are a master of your craft, not just of the art and work that you do at BioWare, but of course of the poetry as well. Thank you for engaging in those conversations, and thank you guys for listening for our update this week. We're going to leave it there in terms of art, quotes, and a beautiful piece from Emily. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this quick update. Of course, as per usual, jump into the Discord to be part of the community. That's discord.anthemuniverse.com. You can check us out on Twitter, which of course is @AnthemUniverse. And of course, don't forget the YouTubes, which you are already here. Follow, subscribe, like, click, do all those ridiculous things that you do, and be part of Anthem. Javelins, freelancers, I'm Ogaz, and we will see you next over the wall.